There is a weight in silence that few understand. Some feel its emptiness, a void where sound should be. But silence is never empty. It is heavy. It carries the things left unsaid, the words swallowed out of fear, the truths buried too deep to reach the surface. Silence is a choice, but for some, it becomes a prison. The tiger awoke to an excruciating pain. Her throat, a deep wound, throbbed with every breath. The source of her suffering was clear. The jagged metal of the cage had caught her during her frantic thrashing, leaving her neck mangled. The tiger felt it cut deep, and she struggled in vain. In and out of consciousness she went. The air around her smelled unfamiliar and frightening, a scent that did not belong in her world. She blinked, her vision blurry as she took in the surroundings. The dim light revealed cold, unyielding bars, a cage, a prison. Her body was wrapped in tight bandages, mostly from the wound on her neck. Beyond the bars, heavy curtains swayed, blocking out the world. Voices echoed, shouting and clapping. Music played, mixing with the distant cries of other animals. All the sounds felt so loud. She tried to move, but her body was weak, so she lay there, listening. The tiger wanted to cry out. This was all so much, but a heavy truth took over her. She would never roar again. Days passed, though they felt like weeks. The tiger remained in her cage, the bandages around her neck slowly absorbing the pain, but never erasing it. She watched through the metal bars, her eyes flickering from one human to another, observing their strange movements. Their voices, loud and shrill, echoed around her. The drapes of curtains hung in the distance, the sound of their rustling, a constant reminder of where she was. The tiger was not alone. The first time she noticed him, he was already watching. From the cage beside her, a male tiger with dark brown eyes lounged against the bars. The dark tiger's fur was thick with strength, but his gaze was sharp, assessing. "They like the roar," he said. "It impresses them." He flicked his tail. "They fear it, but they keep coming back." His eyes drifted to her neck, the bandages. He exhaled. "No one cares. Better get used to it." Her body tensed. He watched her a moment longer, then looked away. "Just pray you can roar again." She said nothing, only felt the weight of his words settle deep inside her. She watched from behind the bars. The humans gathered around his cage, drawn in by the rumbling sound of his roar. They admired him, but from a distance. They never touched him. She saw the way he carried himself, unbothered by their presence. The dark tiger seemed to understand something she did not. Then one day, she observed something that fascinated her. A smaller cage was opened, and a hyena stepped out. It trotted past the humans, brushing against them without fear. They walked with it, guided it forward. The hyena was performing a set of tricks for them. But the most shocking trick of all was the way the hyena laid on the ground, exposing his belly to the humans. he had gained their trust. She tensed, watching, and an idea crept into her mind. But beside her, the male tiger spoke, his voice low. He's not really free, you know. His eyes didn't leave the hyena. Just watch. The hyena was led across the space and into another enclosure, a much larger one filled with rock and trees, but surrounded by walls. The door locked behind it. Just a bigger cage, he said. They'll never let a tiger out. She didn't respond, but she knew one thing. Something about the dark male tiger unnerved her. With all the roaring he did, deep within her, she could sense a silent darkness about him. With everything she witnessed, the tiger had decided she was going to be free, somehow and some way. That night, after the guests had gone, the handlers came. She had seen them every day, but never this close. When they reached for her, she flinched, but forced herself to stay still. The first touch was light. It barely brushed her fur, but it was enough to send panic through her. She wanted to pull away, but instead, she closed her eyes and went inward, searching. And there, beneath the fear, she heard distant drumming. Where it came from, she didn't know. But she kept listening to this rhythm inside her, steady and deep. This song became stronger than her shaking breath. She held on to it. The handlers murmured to each other, their hands passing over her body, testing her trust. She let them. The dark-eyed tiger watched in silence. He said nothing, but his stare made her uneasy. She couldn't help but wonder if she had made a mistake. The tiger learned to endure. Day by day, she mastered stillness. It took months of her fear, of allowing the handlers near, of tolerating their hands without recoiling. By the time she had earned their trust, her neck had healed. The bandages were gone, leaving only a thick scar as a reminder of what had been lost. The song in her mind never left. It wove through her thoughts, steady and soft, quieting the panic that lingered. It anchored her, kept her focused on her plan, on the moment she would be ready. Then the day came. They let her out. The tiger did not run. Instead, she watched. She learned the boundaries of this place, the edges of her confinement. She mapped every fence, every opening, every place where the walls seemed weakest. It was only a matter of time. Then, she met the boy. He stood by her cage, keeping distant. Unlike the others, he did not reach for her. The tiger waited, expecting the hands forced, as the others had. But he only waited, his body still. He spoke a language she understood, one of patience, of quiet respect. In the stillness of it, naturally, the tiger felt curious and went to him. Only then did the boy raise a hand, waiting for permission. When she gave it, his touch was different. There was no intention behind it. It was only steady and present. In time, the tiger found herself looking forward to his visits. He never rushed her, never asked for more than she was willing to give. The boy's hands, hovered near her throat, near the scar. His fingers trembled as they traced it, hesitant. The boy began to weep. The tiger felt drawn to him to comfort the boy. She pressed her body into him, nuzzling her scar against his hand. And then the song within her swelled. It filled the spaces where fear had lived for so long. A fragile sound escaped her throat, a whisper of a purr, but it was there. The boy smiled as silent tears slipped down his face. The boy stood before the tiger, his small hands trembling as he reached through the bars. His touch was gentle, reverent, as if he understood the weight of what she had endured. His eyes gazed into hers, and for the first time, she felt truly seen. There were no words, but the boy had heard her story. "I've never seen another tiger like you," he whispered. She blinked slowly, her eyes locked onto his. With careful hands, the boy unlatched the cage door. The metal creaked as it swung open, and for a moment, neither of them moved. The tiger remained still, watching him. "Go," he said. "Be free." She stepped forward, pressing her hand lightly against his hand. The tiger turned and slipped into the shadows, disappearing into the night. The boy watched her go. His heart beat lightly as he whispered, "Your stripes are too beautiful to be caged." And the tiger roamed free again. She had got her wish. After so much time, she did it. She had slept many nights under the stars. But strangely, freedom did not feel as she had imagined. The further she moved from the place she had escaped, the heavier her heart became. The song inside her, once guiding her forward and calming her, now screamed within. Something was wrong, and the feeling kept consuming her. She couldn't ignore it any longer, so she turned back. Late that night, the tiger crept through the shadows, silent and unseen, back to the place she longed to escape. She listened, waiting, and then she heard it. The boy's cries for help. The tiger's body tensed. Inside the enclosure stood the other tiger, the one who had always taunted her. But now, his eyes were fixed on the boy, his movements slow, deliberate. Somehow the child had ended up inside the cage with him. Why? She did not know. Without a single hesitation, the tiger jumped up a tree and propelled herself over the bars, landing between the boy and the male tiger. A low growl rumbled from the male's throat. He tensed, preparing to strike. She lunged with a ferocity she had never known, her instincts screaming to protect. She fought as though the boy were her own cub, clawing, biting, refusing to let the other tiger harm the boy. The male tiger, stronger than her, pushed back with brutal force. But she had had something he did not. Purpose. A silent, unshakable will. She would die for the boy, for he had given her the thing she valued most, respect and her freedom. The male tiger backed away, retreating into the shadows of the cage. A look passed between them, one of knowing, of surrender. The boy's father and the other handlers burst into the enclosure, their tranquilizer guns raised. The tiger turned, shrinking her body to the ground, unmoving. The boy ran to her, throwing his small arms around her, shielding her. "Move, son," his father commanded. The boy shook his head, tears streaming down his face. "Papa, please." The longest seconds passed as the boy held his father's gaze. No words were spoke, just silence. His father's face moved from anger and protection to soft. He lowered his gun. The others followed, watching in stunned silence as the boy turned back to the tiger. His small hand rested gently on her fur. Step by step, he guided her away from the cage, away from the place that had bound her for so long. "Go," he whispered. "You are free." She looked at him, uncertain. He reached up, touching her face one last time. "Thank you for saving my life." A deep, broken purr rumbled in her chest, the best she could manage. The tiger embraced every moment of freedom, listening to the song within her. She ran like the wind and didn't look back.